Happy Friday. It's been a long week, I presume, for most. I presume for Kirkwood as well. It's, I want to say 2 hours of NBA DFS conversation. It's not 2 hours. It's an hour and 45 minutes. Close enough. Sure, why not? We're going to be here for about an hour-ish until we hand it off to the Crunch Time crew. I believe it's TJ Zwarych, as well as you guys get Ameansy. And of course, Kevin Roth, as always. He's the constant. He'll be holding it down, hosting the Crunch Time show. We hand it off 7 o'clock lock. It's an odd slate, right, Kirkwood, for a Friday. It just feels a little weird. Just 5 games. I believe Saturday's loaded up for whatever reason. Maybe it's because of the conference football games. I don't know what's going on, what the reason why is, but 5-gamer today. How are you, by the way? How are things? We haven't talked all week, I don't think.
I'm just happy that it is a 5-game slate, one thing. And I'm glad that tomorrow's the big 11-game slate because I won't be playing on the weekends like I normally don't. So I like smaller slates personally, especially when I'm doing shows as well.
Yeah, this is a pretty good one. Some body parts are monitoring. What's interesting also, not just the fact that it's only 5 games, it's four early and then 1 late. The second half of that ESPN doubleheader, Toronto, Golden State, 4 of the 5 games are tipping off between 7 and 8 o'clock. We don't really have – we have Wiggins, I guess, is questionable in that Golden State game. I don't think he matters a ton. Of course, you can roster him if you want to. We'll talk about it. We'll have that conversation. Who we're actually monitoring, Desmond Bane is questionable. Rudy Gobert, front half of a back-to-back. He's got that groin. He's questionable as he's been for a while. I don't think Mitchell's officially been ruled out, but he is doubtful. That's Donovan Mitchell. The back half, Miles Turner, kind of a big one for Indiana. It's going to be a big mess if he doesn't play. As far as the Indiana bigs, they're kind of tricky to figure out. Jalen Smith and Isaiah Jackson and Brissett and all that nonsense. And Nembhard is questionable too. And if he doesn't go, maybe we'll get Duarte starting as we saw last time. That is the first game on the slate. Just one 7 o'clock game, Milwaukee versus Indiana. You have any general overarching thoughts as far as the slate? Kind of interesting observations. I have a couple, but I'm going to throw it to you first. I yield.
Not so much. I don't know. We don't. So, although we have high total games, it doesn't feel like we have any like incredible DFS spots, right? Like I think they're all just kind of, all right. Like we got high totals. Right, like the Bucks Pacers, but you got blowout risk there. I think we're waiting on the Pacers news. I think Miles Turner is pretty big one, and then like you said, Desmond Bane's a pretty big one. But other than that, there's not much else going down. I'm already expecting Donovan Mitchell out, just like I was yesterday. So that's I'd be shocked if he comes in and plays, especially for a game against OKC on in this spot here. So. Yeah, I don't have any like crazy thoughts. I don't have any like places where, like I really want to have everything. I think it's a night to get a little different. I think there's some good under-owned spots.
So I think one of the reasons why you kind of led me into my thought is that like there's some games that look interesting. There's some good pace teams, but there's not like an amazing spot necessarily. The best spot I think is Memphis, Minnesota. We'll talk about that.
Those are two pretty solid defensive teams, especially Memphis, and the Wolves are decent defense this season.
So it's just 6 games, right? Just 6 games. We have the 4 best defensive teams playing: Cleveland, Memphis, Milwaukee, Miami, according to defensive rating. So the top 4 teams are all playing. So that right there, not necessarily appealing. But we do have, again, just 6 games, 5 of the 6 fastest teams. Golden State, OKC, Memphis, Indiana, Minnesota. So those kind of counter each other. Go ahead.
Am I missing a game somewhere?
Did I say 5? Oh, it's 5 games. Did I say 6?
Yeah,
my bad.
Yeah,
that's on me.
That's okay. I just wasn't sure.
I had a game.
It's happened before. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And you think I could count to 5? I went to UCF and everything, but yeah. Other things to observe as far as this, I guess it can kind of come out organically. The Turner thing can be annoying because I hate playing. I remember beginning of the year playing like the big man shuffle with Indiana and trying to figure out who's getting the run because the problem is some of those guys are pretty good point minute guys and they theoretically can get there. Like Brissett is 3K. Isaiah Jackson's 3-2. Jalen Smith is 3K. So if Turner doesn't go, they also have Gogo Batadze. They can dust him off. Also 3K. But like you just never, it could be like they all play and doesn't get there, or one guy shines. And we saw this not too long ago. Who was the one that really went? Isaiah Jackson a couple of games ago or a couple weeks ago. It was just the big man in Indiana. All are pretty good fantasy point minute wise, and I'm kind of hoping Miles Turner plays. And also, Turner not playing would help. I would assume Giannis on the other side as far as defensively for Indiana. It would also increase the chances of Milwaukee blowing out Indiana. I guess you are on mute now because you good to go, Kirkwood?
I'm here. What's up? What? What?
No. Yeah, I know you're playing. I don't know. I was gonna say playing injured. You're not playing injured, but you're doing you're multitasking as we're on air right now. Hopefully, you're with child. Is that a way to say that?
I am, and my there was a lot of traffic coming home from work for Lauren, so I'm stuck here with a kid doing the show. But it's all good. It's been fine right now.
Yeah, no worries.
I want to give a shout out to. I've been spending more time in the RG NBA Discord. Just want to give a shout out to. You got to get more active over there, Dean, in the NBA chat.
Yeah.
Yappy Cappy's holding it down all the time. You know, we have fun there. But I want to give a shout out to Doug42864, big downtown Doogie Brown, they call him.
Who calls him that?
I don't know. Allegedly, people, and
people are saying.
He and Emily. So I just wanted to give a shout out. He's been an active member over there in the chat. It's been fun. Had a fun couple days hanging around in there.
Yeah, feel free to at me, and then I'm more likely to pop up. But yeah, I probably should make more appearances. I see that I just pulled it up. They're talking about Josh Christopher yesterday, which was a lot of fun. I did fall for that one. Oh, bad job by me. Did you fall for Josh Christopher?
No, I only played, I had one lineup and I only played on Yahoo yesterday, and I was stupid. So there's these chalk people who've come over now, and they're kind of ruining it because everyone's having the same lineup. So a lot of the fish don't want to jump in the contests anymore. But so I have to show them, I can do this all day. If you want to do this, I know exactly what their lineup is. So I have to choose if I'm going to try to beat it or not. Every day. And I had the greatest match. I had a 2v2, and I ended up going with just last minute switching off of it, which was Garland and DFS. I switched to Levine and Hardaway Jr., which looked like a genius move, which was the chalk, which looked fine at halftime when Levine was put up 29 at half, and then literally did nothing the entire second half. And then Garland went off. So I was mad at myself for that because I should have just stuck to my guns.
Yeah, and the Luka thing. Did you bet Luka overs and demand?
I saw that. I can't believe. I wonder if people are trolling at this point.
No. They're not trolling. They're for real. Those people are for real. They think it's like a scam. Some people think it Luka conspired with DK to get hurt. Because I don't. Apparently, the biggest bet, and one of the more popular bets on DK was him getting a triple double, and Luka doesn't make enough money. He's got to make an extra $10K or whatever the kickback he got from DK was to fake an injury. I guess I don't know if you want to go down that wormhole, but I'm losing my mind with that. I should not get upset about these things, and I'm not I'm on a big sports book. I'm not rooting for the sports books. I'm rooting for the people. But this is not the way I want you to win.
What I loved is there's been a lot of talk on Twitter about the MMA late swap getting taken out.
Yeah.
And there's been certain people on there who've been taking credit for it. We did this, I did this, I was the last, and I knew it was happening. I knew it was happening a week before. If this contest overlaid again, they were going to go back and change it. I had a little birdie tell me, but it's funny, everybody taking the victory laps, we did this, I did this, executed my plan. We got weights, no more late swap. It's been pretty funny.
Did you get a fresh haircut? They're talking about fresh haircuts in the chat. Did you have a fresh haircut?
No, I had one last week, but not this week.
Did it work out for you the day after? You don't remember?
Don't remember.
All right, let's just dig in and dive in and break this down game by game. Chat, what's up? Hit that like button. Kindly subscribe. Turn on those notifications. We have plenty of time to entertain your conversation. We miss somebody. why didn't you talk about so-and-so or tell us why we're wrong about X and Y? Look, it's an interactive show. We want to, communicate with y'all. Anything you want to say, feel free to chime in. Very first game on the slate is Milwaukee, Indiana. 240. It's a pretty big total. Milwaukee's getting a pile of those points. They are 8-point favorites as of right now. Again, we're not really sure about Miles Turner. That seems a big deal. He's currently questionable. Somebody in chat was asking if I'm still obsessing over male body parts. That's one way of saying that, I suppose. It's phrasing. But, we do have the ankle of Miles Turner we're monitoring. He is currently questionable. Nembhard, his, entire body we're looking at was not feeling particularly well. He was ill. He had the fish, so he is questionable. Naismith also questionable. We know Halliburton's out for a while. He's been out for, a chunk of time. Giannis is good to go with his knee. Bobby Portis, of course, out for a bit for Milwaukee. Your general thoughts as far as the slate, one of the big decision points, I think, is do you want to pay up for Giannis? Do you not want to pay up for Giannis? You love having Giannis, of course. But is it worth, how much it hits the rest of your lineup? Do we have enough value to make it work? How much are you prioritizing Giannis Antetokounmpo?
It really all depends. I think he's a good play. I think there's blowout risk. I think, him, being, even though he is probable, there is some risk that he still won't play. They've pulled this before. It's also with right knee soreness in a game where they should be able to handle the Pacers. I mean, the Pacers are horrible and they come out flat like every single game. And so the blowout risk is real. So I don't think he is a priority. Now, if you make some good lineups, in which you certainly can. I mean, it's easy to play all of these Cleveland guys and still get Giannis in there in lineups. So sorry, I have technical difficulties over here.
Hey, you're powering through. A note from the expert survey today. Shout out to Ameansy. He pulled this one. How bad are the Pacers? So the Pacers are bad. How bad are they when they're without Tyrese Halliburton, one of their best player, obviously. Since January 13th, the Pacers have a negative 10.7 net rating. What does that mean? That means they're getting outscored by 10.7 points per 100 possessions. To put that into context, we know how terrible the Spurs are. The Spurs are terrible. They have the worst net rating in the league. Their net rating for the entire season is negative 9.5. So they are worse than the worst team in the league when they're without Halliburton and they're facing Milwaukee. So the blowout threat is for sure 100% real. Pacers are, involved in the tankathon. Actually, no, they aren't. Why am I saying that? No, they're not. They got to fall back. They're out of the lot. They're in the lottery, but they're not the tankathon. They're not as horrific as Houston or Detroit or Charlotte or San Antonio, but they're certainly falling back. The absence of Halliburton, 2-8 in their last 10, for what it's worth, not playing spectacular basketball. Other pieces on Milwaukee here, Kirkwood. I guess it's the wings. I guess that's the most interesting thing. If you want to look at Pat Connaughton is getting some love. I don't know if love's the right word, but he's that salary lubricant that just sort of makes stuff work. He gets you the, you roster him and you can actually roster the players you really want.
Rewind this back for a minute. Lubricant?
Yeah, a salary lubricant. He's a salary lubricant. Yes. Yeah, like he's a roster
like a WD-40 or like a
I don't know what you're doing with your roster. Whatever you're doing in the privacy of your own home, but
what's another lubricant? KY jelly. Yeah, sorry, that's check out me. Just curious. I was just
yeah. He's not necessarily somebody. Would you love roster?
Sorry, no. We got chat's going bananas now. We got Astroglide coming in.
There you go. It's an interactive show, and this is how we get people impromptu. Just, I don't believe Soul Glow is one. That's from Coming to America.
Yeah, it was great.
Yes, I was
sexual chocolate. Sexual chocolate. Yeah.
Yes, Randy Watson. Now we're just getting off the rails.
Yeah, I mean, there's always Vaseline. There's lotion for the budget guys out there.
Whatever you want to call Pat Connaughton. He's actually getting a fair bit of ownership, 28% on DK. Again, he's 4.1. And Middleton is back, but not really. We're giving Middleton 19 minutes. He's not been good. His minutes have not been ramped up. So we're giving Connaughton 30 minutes. he's generally reliant on, is his 3-ball going to drop? If it drops, probably going to get a really good game. If it's not, the floor, the ceiling is the roof sometimes for him. Grayson Allen's another guy you can roster. A little bit of a pivot off of Connaughton, I suppose. If you want to spend up on Drew Holiday, I'm not going to yell at you, but I'm probably not doing it. And Brook Lopez is always kind of sort of some of the same. And Jingling Joe, like Ingles, is a guy that can drop a 5-5-5-2-1 or something like that and eke his way to 27 fantasy points, which could be useful on this slate at 3.7K. The rest of the Bucks, where are you at?
Yeah, so I'll walk back my, Poker Pro Eric was saying imagine fading 65 from Giannis. And that's true. So I'll walk back my take. I just a little bit worried. But like if this game stays close, right? Like Indiana is horrific. And they're 24th in opponent blocks, 25th in opponent steals. Like this game has like ceiling all over it if it does stay close. Now that's a big ask with this team, as we know. But looks like all these guys are playing, so that's a good thing. Because I was also expecting if like Miles Turner was out and Nembhard was out again. Nembhard's a good defender. I think he's kind of stinks on the offensive side of the ball. But anyways, so I think that's a good sign for this. And we don't have with the other studs. We have like pseudo studs. We got Steph, who's obviously could go off at any time, but not the same way that Giannis can. And we've got Ja, but that's kind of a tough matchup. They've got good defenders to throw at them, and we've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander certainly, but Cleveland is the top defense now in the association. So, Giannis is the obvious play if you can fit him, but like there's some merit to going against that for GPPs. Cash for sure, play him. Go ahead. But other than that, I don't have Patty Connaughton's getting some love. And is he gonna break the slate for you? No, right? He's getting coach speak though, and the minutes are gonna be there. I'm fine playing him, but like GPPs, no thanks. For the most part, but
by the way, Turner, Nembhard, and Naismith are all in. Not to cut you off.
They're all playing. So that's why I'm kind of like walking this back now because it gives it, and they're at home and all these guys are playing again. So it gives them a better fight. Right.
Yeah. And I'm sort of glad I don't have to mess with the Indiana big man nonsense. We would have got probably some value there, but also just some wonkiness as well, but do not have to mess with that now. So if I told you Giannis gives you 64, no more, no less, you think you lock him in? He's not 12-5 like Luka is. He's 11-5. And also, this is like you said, this is a slate where 65 as well points would certainly matter.
You take it. I'd take that for sure.
I think I'd take it too. Certainly
we just got the official announcement that he is playing.
Giannis, that is?
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else going on in chat? But I thought of you yesterday. Your boy Garrison Math, Gary Bird, was projecting.
Gary Bird.
And I was like, and he wasn't starting. Obviously, didn't end up starting, so the projection dipped dramatically. But were you excited to see that, just like in writing? Because I know that's one of your boys. But I assume you didn't play him because
it's about time. As I've said, he's the kind of guy you build around. And
you built a G League team around him, maybe. I don't know.
That's exactly what they built around him. So you fell for Christopher, you said, right?
The Christopher.
What? I am so sick of playing Kenyon Martin, who did fine last night.
He was great the game before.
Have you watched him play basketball, Kenyon Martin Jr.?
He's athletic.
He is so bad. He does nothing. He can dunk and he can grab a rebound, but that is it.
What do you want from the guy?
I want more. I've been playing him all week.
He was really good the game before, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what game he got you
sometimes
on.
He gets there. It's a struggle. He got his 25 last night, 26, and he gets there. He did fine, but it is such a sweat watching him.
The one that tilted me was Şengün smashed in the first half, and then they just benched them and they were down 18 or so with 6-7 minutes, whatever it was, and they just didn't bring the starters back and
and then
take care of themselves. They're not going to win.
And last night was kind of tilting too with Cleveland was playing all their starters, though, they're just riding them out there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
like it was going to get out of hand or something.
Well, they pulled him back at some point, but yeah, there was a time.
It was like 4 minutes. Like they played like all the way to like 4 minutes or something. It was like
it's usually you don't see that. Like the home team, right, is playing their scrubs. The scrubs are the scrubs, the Houston guys, and the road team is playing their studs still. You generally don't see that very often, but that's what we had for like a minute or so. Yeah, I remember watching it and that's when the coach just says, "Okay, I'm going to call him off." Like that's it. Like that's kind of like a an unspoken sign out of respect. You almost think about.
It went on for too long, is what I'm saying.
You did not spoken like a man who did not have enough Cavaliers last night.
Who switched to Levine instead at the last minute off of Garland with the birthday narrative. Like that's shame on me, right?
It was Okuro's birthday too, by the way.
Yeah, and then he was out there too.
He took an extra shot, I think, for his birthday.
Yeah,
so he took 3 shots, I think. And Duarte, they're talking about him in chat. I assume Duarte goes straight to the bench. We'll talk about the Indiana stuff. We're done with Milwaukee, right? I assume we are.
Yeah, it's Giannis, really. I mean, the Connaughton's fine. And Brolo is in play for sure. Miles Turner ain't going to chase him out there. He likes to – their defense is kind of predicated around him, holding it down and down in the middle. So I think Brolo is going to have a chance to really light up some threes in this game. And he's been great this season.
Yeah, he's been very good. He is.
I mean, we left him off like once he left Brooklyn, it was like he was like gone for dead. Like we thought, right? And then like he's totally revived himself.
If there's a player you can point to, if your friend of like 15 years ago asks you like, well, what's different about basketball, right? Like I haven't watched basketball in 15 years. Like he's the guy. Like he never shot threes, and in order to stay relevant, now all he does is basically shoot threes, and that's what bought him more years in the league. But you point to Lopez, and like his game basically mirrors how the league changed. I don't know. That's the guy I always think of. If you look at his first 5 years of his career, like he never.
I mean, it got out of hand too, because then there were reports like Montrezl Harrell is like shooting threes in the offseason. Like,
Andre Drummond.
Andre Drummond has a 3 now. Like he was like.
Yeah, Beef Stew's trying him. Who's the other? Bam Adebayo, they keep giving reports that he allegedly could make.
None of these guys are going to work. Brolo is like the only one who can pull this off.
Yeah, and Robin can hit him too. He's capable of hitting him if you ever give him a chance. But
can he really?
Yeah, he'll shoot him. He's capable. Yeah, he's not like Evan Mobley, is like capable of hitting a 3. He's not amazing at it, but he was willing to take the shot. Jared Allen hasn't converted yet. I don't think he's a guy that's taking a 3 or like consistently. So the Pacers, TJ McConnell running the show. How much do you think he's going to be hurt by? And we're assuming he's starting. I'm assuming he's starting. Tell me otherwise. We're getting Nembhard back, and there is that talk of like we don't want to run 2 point guards at the same time. They're kind of sort of forced into it, but now maybe they push back on it a little. We'll see. Also, McConnell, this is the game where he absolutely smashed against Milwaukee a week ago or so. TJ McConnell, a dude who averages 0.5 threes per 36 in his career, was 4 for 4 from 3 versus Milwaukee Buck team in the second quarter, because Milwaukee is just like, yeah, you're TJ McConnell. Go ahead, take your threes. And like they would lay it off, and he was nailing them. Now, do they keep letting him do that? I don't know. Maybe. The price obviously is bumped up on McConnell. How do you feel? Is McConnell just like a lock and load at 6'5" on DK? He's a good play, right? But is it lock city? I don't know. I'm going to have one lineup. Do I play him in every single lineup? You tell me.
What, tonight?
Yeah.
I don't know. First of all, just go check out Downside of Me tweeting about it every single night about TJ McConnell.
Yeah. I can't believe the best play on the slate is doing well.
Yeah, I can't believe. Punish the. But anyway, I know. Anyways, he was a much better play with like a lot of these guys potentially being out, like Nembhard, Naismith. There's just less. I don't see the minutes ceiling with him as high tonight. And he's probably not. Is he? What are they? Are they going to? Are they going to start him?
I assume so. I assume
with Nembhard back.
I think there's a little ceiling though. He loses a little ceiling with Nembhard back.
I think so too. But I think there's a chance that potentially they don't start him, but they probably will.
That's possible too.
Yeah.
We'll get that obviously at 7:30. We'll get it before lock, but yeah, I guess that's sort of the question. And the ownership stuff. Let's see. We have ownership as of basically 5 o'clock. So we'll get an update here soon. But it's a big number. It's 33%. He's 6.5K on DK. Fanduel was even more reactionary as far as his recent play. He's 7-4 over there, which I think is more favorable, obviously. But when he does get going, a lot of times it's through steals, which I think he had none last game, like 4 turnovers. So I kind of spoke to like he didn't break the slate. He was just sort of like fine. I'm not exactly sure where I'm at with McConnell, but it's also peculiar. Do you think Milwaukee plays in the same way? They just let him do it.
That's another thing. So he went absolutely ballistic in them the last time they played. They're gonna hone in on him more this game. I think tonight's a good night to go against him. I think you can beat him tonight for sure. With all
question in chat, TJ McConnell. It's a good question. TJ McConnell.
Yeah, like give me. I hate D'Angelo Russell, but give me D'Angelo Russell in this spot tonight.
I like them both, and they're both going to be pretty popular.
And he's been balling lately, kind of putting up good numbers.
I guess if Bane plays, he would be on him because I'm assuming that Brooks will be on Edwards. Is that fair to assume? No? Where would Ja be?
Yeah, Brooks is going to Brooks
would get Edwards, I think.
Correct. And which will make it a better spot for
maybe Ja for Russell.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Or Bane. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough question.
And I mean, he's been playing big minutes. He's got 42 and 39 in his last 2 games. He's been shooting. I mean, he took 23 shots against Houston. This is a high. There's going to be a lot of shots in this game. It's a 238-point total. Both teams are top 6 in pace. Grizzlies are 4th in pace. Wolves are 6th. Both teams don't defend the 3-point line at all. The Grizzlies are 24th in opponent main threes. The Wolves are 29th. So there's going to be a lot of threes and a lot of shots in this game. And give me Russell, and let's just hope TJ McConnell doesn't get like 5 steals again, like whatever.
You can play them both, but yeah. What about the rest of the Pacers? Again, whatever sort of
buddy.
Yeah, but like, is he a priority or he's just sort of fine?
I think he's fine, but I do like him here. I mean, his price is just still too cheap. He's a guy that can just take over. He's got coach speak. He's coming off of 3 really solid games. He's been playing a boatload of minutes. They've talked about the coach came out and said that they like him running the offense, which is, I don't think anyone's ever said that in Buddy's career. So let's ride him. I mean, he's going to be with a little bit of extra confidence, or which he's been playing pretty well the last couple games. Like let's ride some Buddy Hyde.
Yeah. Milwaukee in the season hasn't given up as many threes as they have in seasons past.
Correct.
For what it's worth. They're 9th best at defending the 3. As far as threes made by opponents, 11.6 per game. All right. And you talked about before, we're on a different game. But Minnesota, of course, they give up the 2nd most, and Memphis gives up like the 7th most. So that's a good call as far as that game. 3-pointers are going to be right in there. We do have
fast pace, and they both don't defend the line. Like you want 3-point shooters in these. Yeah. So I like Bane a lot if he plays.
Yeah, I think that's one that's and if he doesn't go, you think it's like a clear and obvious, but I don't think it's going to be like Tyus Jones is going to get some, Williams is going to get some, I think, but I don't know if there's going to be one clear and obvious.
They don't have Conchar either, right?
I believe Conchar is out. Yeah. Zaire Williams is not a good DFS player. You might get some David Roddy, but you're not playing David Roddy, right?
Correct.
All right. The rest of the Pacers, it's basically McConnell's an interesting conversation to have, and I think you want to have the ownership conversation. You think it'll be under? Well, you're only making one lineup, right?
Yeah, and I might very well end up playing him because I might just block it if I have to. I haven't checked it out over there. I haven't made it yet, but GPP advice for tonight: go under on McConnell in this spot. And is he a good play? He's a fine play. Can he crush you tonight? Yeah, I mean, he smashed this team, but there's more bodies now. They're going to probably play better defense on him. So let's try to find a better pivot.
Anything else, or moving on?
I like Benedict Mathurin. I've told you, I've always said that, like, this kid's a scorer, and he comes in and then he comes in with high usage. It's better when he's on the bench. Coming in that second unit, he played 33 minutes in the last game, 34, 38 before, so 30 minutes in all, at least 31 minutes in the last 4 games. Usage has been 20-24, 30% usage last game against Orlando. He's a scorer. I would be, I would play him over McConnell, to be honest with you.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on. Let's talk about Memphis and Minnesota. One of the featured games, I would say, on the slate. I believe this is the first half of that ESPN doubleheader. This is a rematch of their playoffs last year, Memphis and Minnesota as well. 238 is the total, big boy total. Memphis is a 3-point favorite here. We do not know about Bane. He is questionable. We do know Contra is out. Of course, Steven Adams is out. And I think that certainly weakens their screen game and weakens their defense as well. Adams is a big dude that clogs the middle, obviously. So Memphis, great defensive team, but they do play really fast. So that makes them also an appealing opponent for that way. They play, 4th fastest pace, Minnesota 6th fastest paced. We don't know about Gobert, front half of a back-to-back. We'll see. But I'm assuming Gobert plays. Do you have a take on that?
Yeah, I think he's going to play.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And they're without Taurean Prince. Of course, Cat's been out for a while. Who knows when he's coming back? We'll see. Yeah, you mentioned D'Angelo Russell. I think it's a really interesting Edwards game as well. I wrote him up as my favorite tournament play, although he's going to get owned. But, just 5-game slate, it's hard to hide. But I think Edwards is really good for tournaments. Talk about the Wolves first, if you don't mind.
All right. So this is like the default game to go to. So Cavs has the value. Then this game potentially will get some value, but this is at least from a pace standpoint. So like I said, they both teams don't defend the 3 line. Both teams play super fast. There are some defensive stats available from these teams. The Wolves give up a ton of steals. They're 27th in opponent steals. The Grizzlies give up a ton of blocks. So that's bodes pretty well for Rudy Gobert if he does play. This could be a good block spot for him. Played pretty well the last 2 times he's been in the lineup. So I can get down with him, especially with no Steven Adams. Like he could have more of an offensive role in this one. There's also the risk that he gets run off the court a little bit, but I'll take that risk anyways. But now, other than him, I mean, Anthony Edwards, obviously, he's the key, the scorer for, and coming off of three really solid games, massive game, one massive game against Houston.
Minutes.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be out there and he's going to chuck and he gets going, especially. But the thing is they're going to try to lock him down. Obviously, they're going to put Dylan Brooks on him for sure. And then maybe it's not a ceiling spot for him, but we're kind of grading on a curve tonight because we don't have a ton of good play. This is not one of our typical Friday slates, as we said. 5 games, not a ton of huge stars. He's certainly capable of going off. His price is fine at $9K. I do like D'Angelo Russell. I want guys who can shoot threes in this matchup, and it's D'Angelo Russell and Edwards. Then we can get into the other side, but Kyle Anderson is a fine play too. I mean, man, is he most improved this year? Is he most improved? Like, no, I know he won't win it. He won't win it, but like for us, like in like a DFS sense, like, I mean, when he gets minutes, he's been smashing this season.
It's the dumbest way to define that because a lot of times it's like a player that was good that like wasn't nationally known to be good. Like I think Halliburton was a guy on track to be the most improved guy, but like we all knew he was good last year, right? But he's been better. Şengün, I think, is somebody that's being in the conversation for most improved, but he's on Houston, so who knows? And it's just a weird way the way they define that, and you never really know. I'm curious who Desmond Bane, maybe. I think he might have been. I'm curious where they're at as far as the betting markets. They're talking about this one in chat, and I noticed it earlier today as well. Not just the revenge game, but Kyle Anderson. If you call him a 3-and-D player, we're going to call him a 3-and-D. Lauri Markkanen, is Lauri Markkanen most improved?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's not a terrible one. I see Mitchell in chat mentioning Laurie Bird.
Laurie Bird.
Why are we adding Bird at the end of Laurie
I
Markkanen?
love it. Laurie Bird. This.
So it's the second best matchup. If you trust our defense versus archetype matchup tool, when you call. Now again, we always talk about not all centers are created equal, not all point guards are created equal. We're talking about actual players, like what you do on the court. If we're calling Kyle Anderson a 3-and-D wing, Memphis is the second best matchup in basketball for 3-and-D wings. We talk about them being vulnerable to yielding some threes. I don't mind it. I think he's got like an outrageous price on one of the sites. And I'm not outrageous, but he's 6'4" on FanDuel, 5'5" on DK is much more appealing in my estimation. But you can play in both places, I suppose. What about Memphis? Are we just going to be chasing this Clark stuff, or assuming Clark's going to start once again?
Yeah, I think you can assume that, and he looked pretty good. He's got good chemistry with Ja, so there's he's a good play tonight for sure. I worry about a ceiling. Okay, so my take from this game, Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to break out like soon. Like the problem is he's been in foul trouble these games with Steven Adams out, and that's always going to be there. But he's going to have a game where he's not fouling and he's just blocking, and he's going to go off. He's also someone who can get hot from three, and I think so. I'm interested in him. I think we'll see some extra minutes. You know how they've been like kind of capping his minutes, and he's never had like the upside for minutes. I think this is like a good time to start increasing him a little with Adams out. And I've been watching it, but he just hasn't had he's just been in foul trouble every game. So I'm telling you, one of these big games is coming tonight. Could very well be the night. I like his price at 6,600. I like him on all sites actually. So
that's the benefactor, by the way. A lot of foul trouble is his price has dipped. I don't know. When was the last time we saw him at 6'6" on this season? I feel like it's been a while. Maybe when he first came back. Yeah, basically. No longer in the sevens like he has been. And like he's an awesome shot blocker. By the way, you know how bad Gobert has been shot blocking this season? I was pulling up his per 36, year by year. As a rookie, 3.4 blocks per 36, right? In 2018, 2.6, 2.1, 3.1, 2.3. What is it this year? 1.5. Come on, man. This guy's, it's been terrible. I don't want to pile on Rudy Gobert, but he's not even blocking shots anymore. Okay. Just thought that was interesting, I suppose. Albert, like by his standards, he's been really bad. I agree that Jackson's really interesting. And we've also seen games like you said, where he puts up like 20 fantasy points in the first 7 minutes. This goes insane out there. He's not going to play more than like 32, 33 minutes. But if you get like 31, 30, even 30, I'll take. And I don't think we're projecting for much more than that. Let's see, what are we projecting for? 28. Yeah. I'm gonna play some in tournaments for sure. How about Ja?
So this is a tough matchup for Ja. Jaden McDaniels is going to be guarding him. He's a really solid defender. And they're also going to double him tonight. And so I'll give me the under on anything Ja related in this matchup. I do want Bane to play because I think that'll help. I think Bane will be in a really good spot, but it also makes me like Triple J, like I said. So I'm looking to get under on Ja tonight and take either Jackson or Bane.
Chat's talking about Santi Aldama. I would say Santi Aldama is something. If I was making 150 tonight, I would not play Aldama and Triple J together. He would be the best benefactor if Triple J gets in foul trouble. I don't like playing Aldama, but if I'm going to do it without Triple J and like the hopes that we see some extended foul trouble there. Anything else here that's worth noting, or shall we move on?
I think we're good.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, if Gobert doesn't play, Naz Reid.
Yeah, it's worth saying. Yeah, and it's and then there's darts like Garza and Knights who theoretically could get there, but that's like super ambitious stuff. But a path is there. Gobert is out. Then like Naz can get in foul trouble, and then all of a sudden Garza and Knight, who are good fantasy department players, just they have trouble getting on the court sometimes. If not my favorite game, this might be my favorite game. Cleveland and OKC. The problem is I think it's everybody's favorite game. Cleveland and OKC, 221.5 is the total. Cleveland is a 1.5 point dog here versus the Thunder. They are, of course, without Donovan Mitchell. We are resting Ricky Rubio in the back half of back-to-back, and Kevin Love is not playing basketball for Cleveland. So a little bit thinner. Basically, yesterday's team with the absence of Rubio, take him off. As far as OKC, we haven't seen this in a while. They're actually without somebody. They're without Lou Dort, no Dortcher chamber. So that certainly makes life easier for the likes of Darius Garland and Karis LeVert. I don't know which side you want to start on. I assume Cleveland is just amazing. And I note this. I wrote this one up today. I think it's a pretty good note from a rebounding perspective. And, both Jared Allen and Evan Mobley look really good, especially on DK, Mobley especially on FanDuel. But the note I had here, so the Thunder, they have the league's 4th worst rebounding percentage. And when you consider how fast they play, they allow the most opponent total rebounds per game. Enter Mobley and Allen. Like both these guys, I think double-doubles on layaway. Talking about the Cavs, do you agree with that take? You like the bigs here for Cleveland?
Yeah, so I've been on like Evan Mobley hard lately. Like with Donovan Mitchell out of the lineup, he becomes like the number 2 offensive, option on this offense. And that's something we haven't seen all year. So he's struggled and his price has been kind of depressed and hasn't had the upside. I mean, it's too bad that game blew out like it did, and then they took their foot off the gas because like he was absolutely nuking yesterday. Now, so much out of they're off of these guys and because they got to be tired. I would love to know if they went. They couldn't go out. They had to leave, right?
They had to go.
They're on their road trip, so you don't have to worry about the birthday celebrations. I don't think. Maybe they slipped a couple gummies on the plane or something like that.
Is that how you celebrate your birthdays these days?
Legally, of course. Anyways, first of all, Jared Allen is going to smash. I wrote him up I tagged him as like one of my core plays for tonight. So first of all, they're playing Kenrich Williams at center, and it sounds like they're going to continue to play Kenrich Williams at center. From
Good luck, Kenrich.
That they like playing fast, and they're just fine doing that. So if that's the case, Jared Allen is an undersized big, but he's going to look like Gobert out there tonight, like against Kenrich Williams. So he's going to have every opportunity for putbacks, for to just post up down low. So I think this is going to be the Jared Allen game tonight. His price is depressed. It's also a really good block spot for him. OKC is 27th in opponent blocks per game. So I think he's fast, right? Like he's undersized and he's kind of fast for a big. So this is going to fit perfectly for him. So he's going to have all the advantages. So he's my number 1 play. Obviously I like Garland. I'm actually more on Karis LeVert tonight. I mean, I like Garland. He's going to be fine. I loved him last night. LeVert, Rubio affects LeVert, right? Because LeVert's better when he's kind of like the playmaker on the offense, kind of running the offense, or else he'll just go and kind of like sit in the corner and some things. So I think it's a big upgrade for him with Rubio being out tonight. And like no one's really like thinking about that, I don't think. So give me him in this spot in this game after Garland did kind of everything last night. I think it'll be Jared Allen and Mobley will be give a down tick to Mobley and Garland and give an uptick to Allen and LeVert.
3rd and 4 nights, do you care? And it's back to back and it's travel. Do you care about that or not so much?
Yeah, of course a little bit, but it's a 5-game slate. We don't have many other spots. Yeah. This is Donovan Mitchell's out. I mean, these guys are pros. They're in shape. They're fine.
And they didn't fully get pushed last night. You were talking about them playing a little bit too much, possibly.
That's another reason why I was like, why are these guys still in the game up 20 plus? Like when they're playing, like I just made no sense to me. But
do you have a max on the number of Cavs? I wonder like how many Cavs optimals. I have not run optimal since our update. Let's see what we have. And can you play Allen and Mobley together? I'm okay. I'm not forced. I'm okay with it. It happens.
You definitely can. Their price just screams that they're too cheap. Like 6,800 and 6K when in like the premier spot of the night. Yes, you can definitely play them together.
How many Cavs? According to the chat, I'm running it right now, but Don Yeezy's telling me it's 4 Cavs in optimals. That wouldn't surprise me. It's probably Allen, Garland, LeVert. Am I missing somebody?
And Mobley, probably, right?
Yeah, maybe they're all hitting it. Jeez.
I think 3 is probably preferred, but
I might cap it at 3 for tournaments. But yeah, I 3 or 4 wouldn't surprise me. It makes sense. It's 5-game slate. Well, we have the Orlando Miami game coming up in a second. That doesn't matter. Well, it matters, but it's not going to matter for optimals. Big Hurt wants to know Mobley or Allen on FanDuel. Price
tough.
wise. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just sold on Allen. This is going to be the Allen game tonight. I would normally go with Mobley. Mobley's been my guy. I've been riding him, but and he had his nuke spot yesterday. I just think that the spot for Allen is going to be massive, but it's good for both of them. I mean, they're both, like I said, he kind of becomes the number 2 choice on offense. And then, obviously the defensive stats are always in play with him. It's a good block spot for him as well. He could pick up some steals. But I'm telling you, Allen, this is going to be an Allen game.
Ownership on FanDuel, Garland 40%, Allen 32%, Mobley 45%, LeVert 52%, Jetty Osman 24%. Jetty's 3.9. And he's a guy that might get some extra run if you want to play the 3rd and 4 nights. Maybe they give him a few extra minutes. We're giving 23 his way. And again, there's no Rubio. Running optimals on DK and 4 are hitting. There's 1 with 3. Our 4th optimal has only 3 for what it's worth. It also has Rudy Gobert. I guess we're assuming he's in. 3 or 4 is kind of sort of what's hitting it. Yeah, there's 4 again. Yeah, it does not surprise me. And as far as ownership on DK, it's going to be there. I'm guessing Allen is going to be outrageous because of how cheap he is.
And we got it. Kevin Love is still out. That matters.
Well, he's basically Dean Wade, I think, right? Yeah, that's who's taking the minutes.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it just helps Allen and Mobley. They have a high minute ceiling. This is a ceiling spot all around. The only problem is the back-to-back is the only thing, but I'm fine with it. Jetty, I don't know how interested I am in Jetty, to be honest with you. He's cheap. I get it. I just love this. I just think that without the torture chamber in this game is going to play super fast, and the defense. This is not going to be the same defense that OKC played. They can't stop a number 1 option now.
Let's see, Jetty versus Dean Wade. They're talking about that in the chat. I'd prefer Jetty over Wade, I think, as far as those two. Jetty can actually score 20 points, theoretically. What about the runbacks there on OKC? Shea, of course, is really interesting. He's the clear and obvious runback, and there's Giddey. And then if you want to throw darts at the other stuff, Ken Rich could be interesting. Isaiah Joe, if he starts, Trey Mann can get some run. There's some guys that Baisley
smoking Isaiah Joe.
Why do you assume he smokes just because his name is Joe?
He's the new Smoking Joe. Joe Harris is no longer Smoking Joe.
Joe Frazier, by the way, is that's Smoking Joe. It's
okay, DFS.
When has Joe Harris ever been Smoking Joe Harris?
Always.
No.
Yes. Official nickname. It's his official nickname.
If he's calling that because he burns your lineups if you're playing, is that why you call him Smoking Joe?
He is this year. That's for damn sure.
Terrible now. Ever since his injury, he got paid. Good for him. What's your OKC take?
So it's a tougher matchup for them, obviously, because the Cleveland team, but you do get them on the back-to-back, so that should help a little bit here. The Cavs defense has been ridiculous, so it's going to be tough. But obviously, Shea is the guy, but Aaron Wiggins is going to have a huge minutes upside if he starts, and I think he will start. For Dort, so I think he's a guy that could have a ton of minutes for a cheap price. In this one, now it's tough. He's not the best fantasy, 0.7, almost 0.78 fantasy point per minute. guy here isn't the sexiest of plays, but he's certainly someone we can play for cheap. Shea is the guy that if money's not a thing, but like if you're playing Giannis, you're not going to get to him whatsoever. But if you're game stacking, sure. Jalen Williams is there the not with a Y, without the Y is their best defender. He's going to be he'll be in play tonight. But and then Josh Giddey has been balling, man.
Yeah.
And still a normal price. So I mean it's you can play any of these guys that I said. Even potentially Trey Mann, he might get it. He's been so bad. I don't know if I can do it, but he does have if he does have some, yeah, it's not a good spot. But he's 3K and he's someone who can be a scorer. That's the only thing I think about, but forget I mentioned him.
Beyond Shea and Giddey, who's like your favorite dart? I know you ran down some names, but if you're gonna pick one,
Wiggins.
Yeah, we're giving and who do you think starts? Do you think he starts? Possibly?
Wiggins. I think Wiggins starts.
Okay, interesting. And if he starts, we're giving him 27 minutes right now. All right. Yeah. Okay. I can get on board with that. But they do have they still have plenty of guys, right? We're projecting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players playing.
The other option would be if they decide they could start Baisley, who they haven't been playing much whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's an option for them. They won't start Muscala. That'll never be an option. I think it's going to be Wiggins. I mean, everything they've said is how they want to play small. Kendrick Williams at the 5 and just, they're willing to sacrifice, size and just go speed. So Wiggins makes the most sense.
Sorry, I got distracted for a second. Somebody's threatening me in my DMs. So that's you ever get one of them?
No.
Jimmy Oldson, whoever that is.
Wait, what are they threatening?
They're upset that I was making fun of people whining about the Luka Doncic situation, apparently. So yeah, I hope our paths cross one day.
This has become your issue, huh?
Well, again, and I hate being the guy that
you just can't help yourself, Dean.
Well, one of my favorite pastimes is to whenever somebody gets hurt, instantly, even before it's announced they're going to come back, they're not going to come back, and who knows. People are already begging FanDuel Sportsbook and DraftKings Sportsbook, give me a refund. You gave me a refund, 9 years ago for this game, and it happened once before, so you must do it again. Otherwise, you're a scam artist. It's like this is what people type. So I can't help. I'm a glutton for that absurdity. And where people's brains go. They're absurd when it comes to these things. They just can't realize that that's all part of the gig. That's just how it goes.
Personally, if you're out there and you're listening to me, I say everybody start. Whenever someone gets hurt, start asking for the refund and tag Dean in the
tweet. Do not tag me. Oh man, it's insanity. It's gone to, and again, I don't want to be.
And so it's their own fault. They set a false precedent. They precedent, right? So they and how do they do it now? It's obviously from the amount of handle they get is probably how they do it, right? When it doesn't really affect them much, they probably let's get some good marketing and do it.
And the other part of it is generally speaking, people are putting like 9, 10 leg parlays. They're gonna get that money back. They're gonna get it at some point because probably it was cool when you hit the 9 leg parlay, but it's not positive EV. You're probably not gonna hit that, But
shout out! I'm pissed at DraftKings. I'm pissed that they limited me on MMA, but I'm also kind of happy because I was ice cold the last 2 slates, and it saved me so much money.
All right. Do I send out a picture of this on Twitter? Do I out the guy? You got to out the person, right? Somebody that's threatening you. You're supposed to do that, right? What are the rules?
I don't know. You never know who you're You never know who's behind.
I don't know. He says, "I hope our paths cross one day."
Yeah, maybe he'll SWAT. Maybe he'll figure out where you live and SWAT you.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, how is that still a thing? Okay,
I mean that's the craziest thing of all the things. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing until I think. Yeah,
there's a show on there. There was a Netflix had documentary on it.
Who's the guy? Because I got high. Who's the guy that sings that song? I think he got swung. Oh Jesus, the one-hit wonder from like 20 years ago, Afro Man. There it is. Somebody spotted. It's a whole thing. It's a whole other world to get into. We had to move on. Shockingly enough. Anything else as far as OKC? Or we're good. We're done, right?
No, let's go.
So this game is on the slate. It's going to be played in a forest. Does it make a sound? Orlando and Miami, 219 is the total. Not a very appealing total. Miami is an 8-point favorite here. As far as who's in and who's out in this game, Miami appears to be fully healthy, with the exception of Duncan Robinson. But otherwise, they're fully healthy. Jimmy Butler just didn't play the other night for who knows why. But I guess he has back flared up supposedly. Isaac is out for Orlando, but he's not playing, more than like 15 minutes anyway. 15 is probably extending it too much. Can you play dudes in this game? Of course. But I think it's clearly the least appealing game. But then for some people, for tournaments, that makes it more appealing. If you want to play the ownership game, Miami, Orlando, what do you got for me?
Yeah. So, I mean, I like a part of me wants to go here, like you said, because it seems to be like the obvious, let's just move on to the next game. But so there's pace issues. The Heat play so slow. They're 28th in pace. The Magic are slow, 19th in pace. Like both teams are pretty much fully healthy or, getting pretty healthy. Isaac's not going to play in this one, but they have a lot of guys, Orlando, and the Heat obviously have a lot of guys too. Jimmy Butler's price, $7,600.
Yeah.
That looks pretty tempting.
Yeah, assuming he plays basketball this evening.
He'll play tonight.
Okay. Yeah.
If not, I'll eat a hat.
A chocolate-covered hat? By Matt wants to know the best game environment. It's not this one. I think it's pretty clearly either Memphis, Minnesota.
It's the last two we talked about.
Which one? What is the best game environment?
I think it's the Cavs, OKC, and Grizzlies, Wolves. But you could make a case where you said the Raptors, Warriors, and you could also make a case because it's kind of a late night hammer. The Raptors, Warriors, and may get lost there.
Yeah, it's not Orlando, Miami. Some ownership coming in. It's a 5-gamer, right? And like you mentioned, Butler, he's getting 15% on that DK price, which is pretty appealing. But again, everybody's healthy. Everybody's in. Tyler Hero, who was horrendous his last game. 12%. Bam was awesome last game, 12%. Orlando doesn't look terribly appealing to me. If you want to play some Fultz or Banchero, have at it, enjoy yourself. Wendell Carter, same deal. But, Victor Oladipo revenge game, does that do anything for you? Yeah. What's to say about the Magic?
Not a lot. Maybe a point guard. So I was potentially a little smidge of interest in Fultz. I don't have maybe Wagner, but not much else. I don't really want any of the bigs. I don't want Wendell Carter Jr. It's a tough spot for Paolo. So it's really just the guards in this game I would want. So Fultz would be the guy, or Franz Wagner for running the offense.
Big Hurt wants to know, would you play Banchero and Hero Fanduel single entry? I probably wouldn't. Would you?
Yeah, no.
But you're gonna get him at 1% in single entry.
I kind of like Hero, but I don't like Banchero.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the hammer that is Toronto Golden State. We did mention this game is 2 hours after everything else. I guess Heat stuff is coming in right now. I didn't know there was Heat stuff, but there always is Heat stuff. Max Strus available to play with the shoulder. I thought he was in, but I guess I missed that. I didn't know he was questionable at all, but okay. All right, so Toronto, Golden State, 10 o'clock this night at night. As far as the total in this game, 235. It's a big number. Golden State, 5-point favorite. We don't know about Wiggins. He's currently questionable. As far as Toronto, they are fully healthy, right? Banton doesn't matter. Golden State, yeah, it's just Wiggins. He's questionable last game. He didn't play last game. He was not feeling well. Iguodala has got that hip, so he is out. Toronto with their completely absurd rotations. Sometimes they play 8, basically 6. The prices are there, but the opportunity is there as well for dudes like Pascal, FVV, and the rest, I think Pascal's the most interesting piece here on the Toronto side. You tell me otherwise. Talk about the Raptors.
Yeah, so it's the only thing is I worry about the matchup here. Draymond Green's going to be all over him here, and he's held him in check throughout when they've played each other. Yeah, I'm just not high on this game. I think it's the guard play I want. I mean, give me Van Fleet in this one. His price is fine. I think he's got a lot of upside for this. I mean, this is a decent game environment. I mean, this is a huge pace up spot for the Raptors. The Warriors are playing blistering fast. It's got a high total of 235. Their defense has really struggled this season. They're 22nd in opponent-made threes. They give up a bunch of steals. It's like everything keeps pointing to guards. So, that's why I like FVV in this one. I think Gary Trent is interesting. No one's going to play him. I don't think. He shouldn't get much ownership. I have the other site opened up for a second. But what do we have for – yeah, he's going to be low-owned. So both of these guys are going to be pretty low-owned. I mean, FVV will get a little bit more, but
13% on DK, Precious at 12, Pascal at 10, Barnes at 9. You got a cheap OG for what it's worth. He's 5'9", but he's
he's on the trade. He's on the trade block allegedly.
Toronto's been bad this year, massively disappointing. I wouldn't be surprised to make some moves if they can. It's how about the Golden State side? Of course, we got the crunch time crew coming in. About 5 minutes or so, TJ and Roth and Andy Means, they're in the bullpen. If you guys are playing cash games tonight, Andy's going to position y'all really, really well. Just pay attention. He'll basically kind of sort of somewhat build the lineup for you. TJ will give some great takes as far as tournaments. If you have premium, if you have RG Premium, hit up the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord. The Crunch Time chat, that's where you fire off your questions. Roth will prioritize them. If time allots, Roth will hit up the YouTube as well, taking you straight up to lock. Give me your take as far as the Warriors. Draymond getting the biggest ownership in this game at 15% currently on DK. 7-1 on Fanduel, a little bit trickier, but 6-2 on DK. Marble. Warriors, go.
I mean, it's someone said it in chat, and it's the Curry revenge mouthpiece game. I mean, and that's what it is. Did you see it? Did you see what happened?
You know what?
In the last
People
game?
were saying that was a ref show. That was gross. And he's done that multiple times. Stopped. I'm not saying I don't know if he should have been kicked out or not, but I'm fine with it. It was gross what he's doing. Look what he's get throw your mouthpiece like a child. Imagine for a second if that was LeBron. People would have lost their minds if LeBron did that.
I disagree. I don't mind it.
You want a mouthpiece thrown in your face? It's gross. And he did that in the playoffs.
He did, and he did it at a ref. We did it at a ref one, which is bad. This time he was doing it at his own teammate. I mean, he was pouting. It was crazy. But the greatest part was the interview right after, where Jordan Poole had no idea what was going on. He thought it was just Steph throwing it out into the crowd. He didn't realize it was because of him.
That was great, yeah. But some kid caught it and that made his year. I didn't know if that's true. I'm not sure that's true or not. But somebody's saying somebody caught it in the crowd. But yeah, it's
maybe extracting DNA from it, or
what do you? Go ahead. That was my take, and if you think it's a bad take,
in the world of COVID that we live in now, it's
any world. But sure, if you want to add COVID to it, yeah. But any world, that's still gross. But go ahead. You were saying
you're a big germaphobe guy.
No, I'm not. But I don't think it's necessary to pile on when you don't need to throw your mouthpiece in somebody's face or just in a crowd. It's not necessary, But whatever.
What else are you gonna throw?
Why do you have to throw anything? You rip your shirt
angry.
Or something if you're really angry. I don't know. Pull a Hogan. I'm not really sure. Get your anger out. It was inexplicable.
Your only other option is to pull a sneaker off. And
well, what was Dwayne Dedman? What did he throw? He threw indirectly. He threw something on the bench. Like a massage.
The shake weight or something like that. Oh no, the Theragun. Theragun is what he shot.
Yeah, and that was again. I don't think that was intent matters. I'm a big fan of intent. Like Steph's intent was to throw that mouthpiece. Devin didn't want that to go flying on the court. But go ahead, you were saying.
No, I was trying to. So this is where he was throwing one of these bad boys.
You have one of those. Look at you. Look how fancy you are.
Look at that.
Is that tier 1 in the Onyx for TK? You get one of those bad boys?
No, but I did just get all the Apple stuff. I haven't. Here, to it right now. Oh,
Nicely done.
Yeah, I got back pain, so I use one of these. It's not a Theragun. It's a knockoff from Costco. The sharper image version.
Is that still a thing in the mall? The sharper image? Is that still around?
No, but they had it at Costco, so I bought it there.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah. Anyways, where were we?
We were ranting about Steph, but talk about the Warriors. We got the crunch time crew. I'm sure
it's Curry. It's Curry. They give up a lot of the Raptors give up a lot of threes. 20th opponent made threes. It's a good spot for guards. It's Steph. It's maybe Clay, and or maybe you can play a little narrative. Jordan Poole bounce back. Like something like that, or like for throwing.
It was a terrible shot he took, so I understand Steph's frustration.
And he was calling for it. Was like it was the dumbest thing ever. I mean, he stinks. He's good scorer, but I mean, he's such a liability on defense, and he just does a lot of stupid things. So, but he needs to. These guys need to know who they're playing with, right? Like
that's Steph Curry, like the greatest shooter of all time.
I know.
You give him the ball.
You give him the ball, especially when he's standing there open and like you need to run clock. But my boy Jalen missed 2 free throws last night, so I'll never forget that. But yeah, it's Steph or Clay. Those are the only plays for me on the Golden State side, and I love FAV and I like Gary Trent. So I'm going guards in this game.
Roth and Andy and TJ are here. Maybe my take is a soft take or whatever. I'm not really sure. I'm going to assume you guys all saw throwing his mouthpiece. Maybe you did, maybe did. I'm sure. Yeah, Andy, Roth, TJ. Did that warrant an ejection? Yes or no? Who wants to let their voice be heard in this?
It's an automatic ejection by the letter of the law in the NBA.
Bingo. Because of malice at the palace and all these other reasons, you can't have players throwing things at fans because then fans throw things at players. It's dumb and it shouldn't be, but it is, and really for good reason. So kind of it should be.
Why shouldn't it be an ejection?
Because who really cares? Like, it wasn't a dangerous thing. I don't know.
Dean doesn't like the germ aspect.
It's a gross act.
I don't trust people who are germaphobes.
No, I'm not a germaphobe.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't trust Dean. I don't trust Dean either, Roth.
Yeah, I don't know about this, Dean.
It's not that I'm a germaphobe. It's just an egregiously gross act that's so avoidable and so unnecessary.
Don't you have people to argue with on Twitter about prop refunds?
Dean,
Kevin,
the thing you're overlooking here, the thing you're overlooking here is that Steph Curry didn't just sit and think like, should I throw my mouthpiece or not? It's like a split second adrenaline rush, last minute of the game or whatever decision. Like, he's not considering whether he should do it.
But why is that the impulse? Why can't his reaction just be like, what are you doing? It's just like
because people can't control their impulses, Dean. If they could, you'd be putting the amount of energy that you're putting into this and the Twitter trolls when we have 400 people watching to getting the likes up, Dean.
Bingo. I didn't want to say it, but my thoughts exactly.
Hit the like button if you think Steph Curry should have not been ejected.
But also if you think he should have been ejected.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I'm not the ref show guy, and I'm not like, I'm fine with. I don't like most ejections, but also he's a multiple time offender. He did this on the biggest stage in the world, and also the big one is again, Steph is like he's cutable, and he's like one of the smaller guys. What if it was like LeBron who did this? Like, Twitter would have lost his mind. That would have the next 19 shows for Skip Bayless.
You need a Theragun to calm down over there.
You're going to say a therapist. I was like, yeah, he does.
I was going to say he needs therapy. Yeah. And have that person ask why he loves LeBron so much.
I've never thrown a mouthpiece at anybody. Never happened.
You've never worn a mouthpiece.
What do you wear one to bed? He probably has a retainer or something. What do you wear one at night?
Headgear.
Are you a grinder? A teeth grinder?
I'm not, but I wouldn't shame those that do that. But I'm just I don't have that option, I suppose. Maybe if I had that at my availability. Yeah. Well, did you ever see
the
those
dentist
videos?
has been pushing me for like 6 years to buy one of these like $1,000 like mouth guards that I keep saying no, thank you, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: you ever see the videos? And I don't know how many of these are real and how many are fake, but like people, like you saw the Cowboys fans like watching the Cowboys lose, like punching their TV. Like you guys are defending those people too. The same sort of act. Like Curry. So that what they're doing. Let's punch my TV and let's just throw my TV, in the garbage because the Cowboys missed a field goal. You've seen those people, right? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
I had to
You
wear a
like those
mouth
guys
guard
too?
for like 3 years of basketball after I broke my tooth in half, scoring one of my coolest baskets ever.
And how many times did you throw your mouthpiece while you were playing basketball?
I think
What
0,
about
but I
breaking a
probably dropped
laptop?
it on the ground a lot.
Smashing a laptop, is that different than the
No,
TV?
it's the same sort of principle.
It's easier.
So-
So much
more?
difference smashing an expensive laptop than throwing a little piece of plastic.
Now I was thinking then the TV, like breaking the TV, like
That
the
is
Dallas
same, yeah.
fans.
I mean, you guys, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, producer Steve is showing exactly what I'm talking about.
I mean, that was an interesting choice he took. He took a guy in his underwear. What's he?
Was that a guitar he used to hit the screen?
It was a baseball bat, I
Amazing.
think.
He broke two things.
It's a guitar.
Oh, that is a poor choice. Yeah.
It's from a
all right,
music
my
video.
rant is done. People are done with me. My allotted time is over. You got anything else here, Kirkwood?
Nothing.
I'm being called a Karen in chat. Oh, nobody's understanding what I'm saying. We live in a society, is the point. That's all I'm saying. Just like maybe don't
Thanks,
throw.
George.
All right. I'm not getting my point across the way I want to. It's fine. This is why I didn't tweet it out. I was gonna. Yeah.
Good choice.
Kirkwood, you got anything else? We're good.
I just said I didn't, Dean.
Well, I had to circle back.
Dean's
Something may have
flustered.
changed in the last 4 seconds.
7. Pep, we need the 7s in chat. All right. Good luck, everybody.
Roth,
You guys.
get me out of here.
Hey, excellent stuff as always. By the way, Mr. Donk says Dean is the best host. You're the man, Dean. So he's lying just to make you feel better, but he did say
Shots
it.
fired at Roth.
It's there in the chat. I mean, if I were to vote between me and Dean, I would vote for Dean too. So that's no offense taken there. But it is noted Dean would not drink out of a hose. I bet he wouldn't drink out of a hose. You guys would drink out of a hose, right?
Oh,
Grew up in the
drinking
90s,
hose
of
lots.
course.
Grew up drinking out of a hose. Dean wouldn't drink out of a hose. That's a fact. Hey, welcome to it. This is Crunch Time, and this is the best show in the biz, sponsored by Fanduel. That is the reason it's free. So go ahead, hit that the little thumbs up button there on the YouTube. It changes colors. It makes a noise if you hit the thumbs up sometimes. Just make sure you're doing that. It helps keep the show for free. Getting some love on this dope hoodie. Yeah, I know. This thing is pretty bomb. Be jealous. But what we really deserve to get some love for is having two of the sharpest minds in the biz on the program. One, Monsieur Andy Means. Bonjour. I don't know.
I'm French.
Yeah.
All right. I'm confused. How do I not have one of these shirts? Like,
It's a hoodie. You don't. It's like the little zip hoodie. You don't have one of these
yeah.
guys?
How do I not have one?
Well, I don't know, man. Whenever there's like the swag bag is open, I dive in. I've got like 4 of these.
I feel like the one I got was like it was a hoodie, but it was like more long sleeve tee hoodie. Yours looks like more
I got a couple
sweatshirt
of those
hoodie.
too. You gotta. I've been with them a lot longer than you. You don't realize that means I've been grinding RG for 9 years. This is probably like 8 years old.
I feel. No, you just got that, didn't you? Don't
No,
lie.
I swear I did not. No, I've had this thing forever.
Oh, okay, that's pretty bum. I'm gonna get one of those in Nashville in a couple weeks.
We'll see if we can make that happen. Hey, we also have TJ. TJ, what's happening, bud?
Bonjour, Monsieur Roth. Comment ça va aujourd'hui?
Oh, that's not fair. You can't drop French on the Canadian. That's not fair. You're making me look bad.
Comme ci, comme ça, mon ami.
Très bien.
Hey,
I still don't have any RG gear, so I mean, if you can send me one of your sweaters, I'll send you an Agents of Fandom one back. We'll do a little swap.
okay, that seems like a win-win for you. You get my RG things, and I'm promoting your
That's
show.
that's not a great jersey swap.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I
That's
mean,
fine.
you have tons of
That's
those,
like,
and you get
that's
something
like
new and
Marjan
hip and cool.
Beauchamp. That's Marjan Beauchamp exchanging his jersey with Tyrese Halliburton.
I am not going to take this disrespect. We were Canada's fastest growing media outlet of 2022.
Hey, big things happen in there. Shout out to everything you're doing there, Agents of Fandom. But guys, we have been literally BSing for roughly 11 minutes straight. And well, it is a Friday, and
Thanks, Dean.
it's fine for thanks, Dean. It is time to get into a little bit of content here because we got 29 minutes until lock. It is a smaller slate as well, so I assume we're going to have plenty of time. But Michael says, since having kids, what percentage of shows is Roth sick? 40%. Yeah, it's like
You've
like
been
40
nasally for 2 weeks.
I have. Yeah, I haven't been able to shake it. Yeah, 40 to 50%. I've been sick. It's terrible. Daycare's the worst, man. But anywho, astute point. But let's dive into this content. Means you could give us a general overview. That'd be great.
Cleveland is the overview from my perspective. Mitchell's doubtful, Love is out, and Rubio is out. Matchup's good, not great. OKC plays fast, third in pace. So second night of a back-to-back, which is a little bit concerning, but Cleveland usually plays their guys a lot of minutes. So most of what I'm going to talk about is Cleveland. We still have Desmond Bane questionable, Andrew Wiggins questionable, Rudy Gobert questionable, although he's played through Q tags the last 2 games and played like 35 minutes. So that's really it. Like you said, smaller slate for a Friday, but I think it feels bigger. I mean, it feels interesting. I don't know. It doesn't feel like a 5-game slate, but there's a lot going on. There's still a lot to happen. I was like writing up the article a little earlier, and I kept seeing Heat players' names pop up, and I kept forgetting that they're on the slate because like there's just so much other more appealing spots. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's an Orlando Miami game tonight. So I'll let TJ talk about that one because I sure as hell ain't.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and just dive into what your game plan is over on FanDuel Cash. By the way, I mentioned this show is sponsored by FanDuel. That's a true story, and they've got cool stuff going on. Sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook if you're in a legal sports betting state. Take advantage of their awesome bonus offer. New customers bet $5 on any market, get $150 in bonus bets. Unless you're in Ohio, in which case you get $200 in bonus bets. That was my Pat McAfee, in case you couldn't tell where I was going with
You guys
that.
are boys now.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, Pat McAfee and I are tight. That's true.
I saw a rumor on Twitter that you guys have the 2 largest biceps of anyone working in sports media. Is that accurate?
That it is, yes. And I don't even know who's third. If Ed Hockley gets in TV, he'd be third. But it's just the 2 of us.
I don't even think you got the biggest biceps on this show.
Oh, son,
dude.
We're gonna. Can we
Steve,
just mute
Steve?
TJ?
Turn his camera off and mute him. Come on, this is ridiculous.
Until it's his turn. he's bumped to the bottom. All right, Means, let's walk through this FanDuel.
You could be wearing 5 layers under there, and you would still not even like get half of what Ross working with there. All right.
Now I recognize this isn't relevant to biceps, but I've sent Roth a video of me squatting 500 pounds. I got big biceps.
You
He's
squat
strong.
with your biceps?
Yeah,
I just led with it's not. Come on.
All right, let's talk about the slate. TJ, you're strong. It's true. Just not like me.
Yeah, my small man syndrome kicked in there. There was no reason for me to dive in like that.
It's all good.
Luckily, I'm going to be very quick here because it's pretty straightforward for me since we are running a little behind. Guard, both guard spots. Garland, McConnell, Russell.
Here's what I found.
My God, I swear, did this last time. My stupid watch is just moronic. Turn this stupid thing off. My God. Come on, Apple. Be better. Yeah, Garland, Russell, McConnell. Those are my 3 favorite. Then you have cheaper. You have Levert, who's shooting guard, small forward. Let me make sure there's no one else. Oh, yeah, and then like Ant, he's shooting guard, small forward. So we will just move on to shooting guard, or I'm sorry, small forward. So yeah, those 4 are just, I think, try to do what you can to get those guys in. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, and then if Bane plays, throw his name in the mix there too. He's 7'6", but he's also small forward. So
hang on, you actually kind of froze when you said throw his name in there. Who was that?
Oh, it's Bane. Sorry,
Bane. Okay.
If he plays, yeah. My bad. All right, small forward. You have LeVert there, and you have Ant there. I already talked about them too. Giannis, if this game can say remotely close, you would think it should. All those questionable Pacer guys are playing. It's in Indy. So you got to think it's going to at least stay somewhat close. I think he's going to absolutely destroy this team. Like, they give up so many points in the paint. And I don't know if we've got starters on them yet. If they're starting like Neesmith at the 4, like, he's 6'5", 215. Like, I don't know, maybe they put Turner on him, but like, I just think this is just such a great Giannis spot. I would try to get him in if you can. I don't have him tagged, so I don't think you have to, but I would try to get him in if you can. Connaughton at 5'3". My dude had 12 boards last game. Don't think that'll repeat, but we'll see. Kyle Anderson at 6'4". He's, last piece kind of guy. All right, power forward. Now we'll talk Cavs. Oh, there's the Pacers starting lineup. Yep, starting Neesmith at the 4. All right, that'll be interesting. All right, Mobley and Allen are two really, really good plays. Prefer Mobley on FanDuel. I have Clark tagged there too. He's power forward center. So, like, that's 3 guys that are power forward center. Mobley, Allen, Clark. So, like, I think pretty much that's who you should be looking at for your 3 spots. Put Giannis at small forward if you can. Let me just double check and make sure there's not anyone at center that I have much interest in. And I think if I would just to name a name, it'd be like Gobert if he plays, or like maybe Brook Lopez, but like you're playing a Cav at center. So yeah, that was quick. That was like 3 minutes.
Yeah. No, we're almost on track here. Gotten back on track. TJ, talk to me about tournaments. What's the game plan? Look at the gift.
No, don't laugh. Don't laugh.
That's funny.
No, it's Roth.
What show is that? I should watch it. That's funny.
Yeah. God.
Looks like a fun
This
show.
angers me so much that you haven't seen that.
TJ, what's the game plan here for tournaments?
So I don't think we have to get too crazy different with some of this good chalk, but there is a little bad chalk in terms of the extreme value that I'm seeing as well that I'm looking to pivot off of today. And so obviously we have this Cleveland game as the biggest source of value, of ceilings, of basically everything on this slate. And guys like Mobley, Allen, LeVert, Garland, I'm not trying to get too crazy and not play these guys today because, yes, they're super highly owned, but they're also incredibly good plays. So one of the ways that I want to get a little bit different while still doing that is add some runbacks from this OKC team. Yes, Cleveland is a very good defensive team, but OKC still has a 111 point total, and it's a 1-point spread. SGA, I'm very interested in for tournaments. Somebody like Kenrich Williams or Josh Giddey, even as a run back, I'm good with as well. The one I'd want to play the least is Aaron Wiggins, just based on he's going to be chalky and he doesn't have all that high of a ceiling, I don't think. He's got a good minutes floor as long as he's in the starting lineup, but that's about it. The next place I want to really dive in for tournaments is this Memphis and Minnesota game. We're still waiting on the Desmond Bane news, whether he plays or not. Brandon Clark is a phenomenal play. John Morant is a very good play, but I'm kind of interested, especially if Desmond Bane is out. The cheap value today is fragile. The guys I don't want Aaron Wiggins chalk. I don't want Chetty Osman chalk.
Yeah. I
want to take shots elsewhere. And so somebody like Tyus Jones, who this is more of a DK play, so I'll hold it off till then since he's not very cheap on FanDuel. But while we're looking at this team, somebody like Zaire Williams or a Santi Aldama or Xavier Tillman, if you're running a lot of lineups today, keep those guys in your pool because all they got to do is outscore some of this other mediocre value outside of Cleveland, and you're going to be in for a really good day. Sorry to disappoint means I'm not going to talk very much about Miami and Orlando. I'll talk a little bit more on DK about them because some of their price down a little bit, but the Desmond Bane is out. Therefore, Tyus Jones is going to be one of my favorite tournament plays of the slate now. I don't think many people are going to be making that pivot, but I think he's going to be one of the best sources of tournament value. Love me some Dylan Brooks. Love me some John Morant. But Tyus Jones and even guys like Aldama and Zaire Williams, I think are going to be very interesting to mix into tournaments. And then I also love this Toronto and Golden State game. Siakam, Van Vliet, Barnes, Trent, Anunoby, all of them are great plays. They're even better plays on DK, but all of them are strong plays today. And then on the Golden State side, I really like taking shots on Steph Curry at low ownership, Klay Thompson at low ownership, Jordan Poole, Draymond Green. I'm good with all of these guys today.
Okay, very good. Means, do you want to kind of revisit FanDuel real quick with the Bane news? Is that enough?
Yes, I do. Let me look. Yeah, there we go. Waiting for my lineup HQ to upload here. All right. Yeah, just very briefly, I do want to touch on this because I like Ja a lot now as a spin up. Like Bane is basically like not in the way they play, but as far as rates, Bane's like Ja light, like good usage guy, good assist guy. So you take him out, like that's more Ja has to do. Obviously, more others have to do. But I like him as a spin up. I'm not going to put him. Trying to think. I could envision there being a situation where you're like, do I pay up for Ja or do I pay up for Giannis? I still think I would pay up for Giannis, believe it or not, just because small forward's kind of weak, and I like guard a lot. Okay. So that's really it as far as the guys I would put in like primary pool. I didn't mention for Clark, make sure he's starting before you play him, as someone I've got tagged or anything. So
okay, does Tyus get the bump into cash consideration? No, not for me. And especially like TJ alluded to it, not on FanDuel. And he's really expensive on FanDuel, and he's going to be okay for me on DK. I wouldn't play him in cash games on DK, but I don't disagree with anything that TJ said. So, but yeah, not in cash games for me. Let's go over to DK though, where I think I got 5 guys tagged on DK. Shout out to Cheese. Ooh, 5 guys. Baseball's closer. Are you getting a little sweaty over there? I am. Yeah, I was looking at the schedule. I was like, oh God, no, don't do it. Don't do it to me.
All right. So Cleveland's much more has much more appealing price tags. I'll put it that way on DK. So you have Allen at 6K, Mobley at 6'8", LeVert at 5'2", Garland at 8'3". I have all those guys tagged. I'll let TJ talk about how you want to handle all that stuff in tournaments. I think you play them all in cash games personally. Then you have Connaughton at 4-1. Those are the 4 guys I have tagged. Then at guard, I talked about 2 guys on FanDuel. I like the exact same 2 guys on DK, TJ McConnell and D'Angelo Russell. And then Ja's 10K. So I think I think he's in play as well. So those guys with did I see LeVert? I forget if I tagged him or not on DK. Yeah, I tagged LeVert. Yeah, so those basically 4 or 5 guys are kind of the primary considerations for me. Let's just we'll look at just small forward because I know the Cleveland guys take up a lot of the front court. So yeah, small forward for me. You have Connaughton who's just small forward. You have LeVert who's shooting guard small forward. I think those 2 guys, or one of those guys, is going to fill your small forward slot. It comes down to the rest of your lineup build, how you're going to use the rest. One guy I'll mention, maybe 2 guys I'll mention for like last piece considerations. Kyle Anderson, 5'5", Klay Thompson at 6'5", but mainly it's LeVert and Connaughton here for me. Power forward, Mobley, I think he's the clear option. Clark, right there with him if he's starting. I like Giannis a lot. It's harder to get him on DK personally. I think, man, if you can find a way to do it and do it comfortably, I think that's a great option. So, like, those are really the 3 guys I'd be looking at. I know I mentioned Slow-Mo at small forward. He's power forward eligible, but not as important at power forward because Mobley's there. And then center, Clark's there, Mobley's there, but then Allen's there at 6K. And I have him. I think he just mans your center slot. And then I guess one guy I'll mention for last piece scenarios, if you happen to get there in the util spot, be Rudy Gobert if he plays. He's only 6'4", but like definitely not a must. But yeah, I think it's a condensed pool for me tonight.
Yeah. Okay. But good stuff. Means TJ, let's talk about tournament pivots here over on DK. I feel like I would just build the chalkiest lineup ever tonight if you do not help me.
Guess what? You can still start it that way. You can still start with Means' core plays today, but take out Connaughton. Stick with those Cleveland guys. If you're going to take out one of them, maybe just roll with one of the 2 bigs as opposed to both of them, or pivot from. I really like Jared Allen today, and I just kind of like Evan Mobley. So maybe just play one of them, just roll with Allen. But I honestly think you can play all 4 of these Cleveland guys. and roll with somebody other than Connaughton for value, because we look at this, like if we look at the projected percentage of ownership right now, TJ McConnell 30+% owned, but all these Indiana players are back and they might get blown out. Pat Connaughton 30% owned. He's not really that good of a play. It's just that there's not really any value today. And so if we look to make pivots off of some of this just somewhat okay value, and get different elsewhere, we can still play these chalky these chalky Cleveland guys who are still looking good today. So I love Brandon Clark on Memphis and Minnesota in the Memphis and Minnesota game, only looking at about 20-ish% ownership for him. That'll probably go up when he's confirmed starting, but I'm still fine with that as well. But like I mentioned before, Dillon Brooks and especially Tyus Jones are two of my favorite values on this slate now. 4-5 for Tyus, 4-6 for Dillon Brooks. Love both of those today. I mentioned I'd touch a little bit on Miami and Orlando now that we're on DraftKings. Bam Adebayo.
Real quick before you do, can you play Tyus and was it Clark or whoever it was together? Brooks?
Yeah. The only two players I maybe wouldn't play together on Memphis would be like I wouldn't want to play the bigs together. So like Clark with I don't think I'd want to pair Clark with Zaire Williams or Xavier Tillman or Santi Aldama. But Dillon Brooks, Tyus Jones, I'm totally good with pairing there. And then I don't think I'd want to do Tyus Jones and Ja Morant together unless I was doing a full Memphis stack. Miami, Jimmy Butler's super cheap on DraftKings at 7,600. Tyler Herro's 6,900. That's just too cheap for both of them. And then on the other side, Banchero's priced down here too is 7K, and Markelle Fultz is priced down at 5.6. They're fine for tournaments. I'm not getting a lot of them, but they're fine for tournaments. On this OKC side, Aaron Wiggins is picking up less ownership than he was earlier in the day. So if he's really only going to be around 10, 15, I don't think that's terrible. But I'd rather go to a guy like Kenrich Williams for value on this team. And then I do really like still SGA and Josh Giddey as run backs. And then one of my favorite tournament spots is Toronto at Golden State. Siakam, Van Vliet, Barnes, Trent, OG, still love them all. OG especially because he's really priced down here. 5.9 for OG Anunoby is just a great price tag. And then I'm also going to be taking some shots on Precious Achiuwa. And believe it or not, I'm taking some shots on Chris Boucher today because he's 3,600. We don't have that good of value today. He doesn't need that many minutes to pay off his salary. And like, say he gets 20 points today. That's more than enough. You look at his last two games, he's played over 20 minutes and he's put 30 fantasy points up in both of those. So the fact that not really like he's getting 5% ownership, he's got a very low floor, but he's got a very high ceiling and nobody's getting there. So Chris Boucher with power forward eligibility at 3,600 is somebody I like getting to as well. Steph is a bit tougher for me to get to here. Even though I do think he has high upside tonight, I think I would rather just get to Poole, Thompson, or Draymond Green on this team.
Okay, very good. TJ, can I play Ant? I feel like he's going to score 40 real life points tonight. I just have that feeling.
Absolutely, and I'm very thankful that you brought that up because that was an error on my behalf. I talked all about Memphis, and I forgot to talk about Minnesota. I like D'Angelo Russell. I like Rudy Gobert. I like Kyle Anderson. I love Anthony Edwards. He's one of my favorite plays. He's in my main lineup today, and I just completely omitted Minnesota in my run through there. So thank you very much.
Okay, very good. Guys, we still have about 9 minutes until lock. Is there anything we would like to discuss? We can talk. Oh, Means he says yes. Call on me, teacher. Yeah, Means.
I just forgot to mention a couple Memphis guys when I went through DK. Dillon Brooks at 4.6, and I talked about Ja Morant a little bit, but Dillon Brooks is the main one I did not mention. So I wanted to throw his name out there as a cheap guy. You can fit as a kind of a last piece. He's shooting guard, small forward eligible. So that was really it.
Okay, very good. Well, like I said, we've got about 9 minutes for some QQs. We got almost the weekend gift happening. I don't know. That show looks interesting. Somebody tell me what it is. I might give it a shot.
Before we switch to QQs here, something I want to roll with quick for mine. I'm running a main sort of cash lineup. I'm messing around on DraftKings lately. I decided I wanted to have some fun with it because I don't have any limits to the contests I can play there. I can do $1, 25 cents, and whatever I want. So I can do all these cheap 50-50s and quintuple up type stuff. In my main lineup today, I'm currently rolling without Karis LeVert, and I'm playing the other chalky Cleveland plays. But I am torn, and I'm interested in Meansy's opinion on this because I think this could be a similar thing people are looking at. Would you rather go Karis LeVert and Rudy Gobert, or would you go Dylan Brooks and Evan Mobley?
Of those two, I would probably do the second one.
There we go. That's what I got. I love it.
Okay. Let's dive into some of these QQs. Of course, I am starting in the RG Discord. It's where all the cool kids hang out. You should be signing up for it if you have not already done so. But let's kick things off with Mike. He says, FanDuel GPP, is LeVert still good chalk to eat, or maybe get Brooks at the same price with Bane out, or maybe play both?
I think you can play both. I do think LeVert is still good chalk. I think Kirk D's made a great point on the last show. He'll probably have more second unit ball handling duty now that Rubio's out. And so like maybe NATO just absorbs it, but I could see LeVert getting a little bit of staggered kind of point guard second unit run. So I do still think he's good chalk, and yeah, you can play both of them.
Okay. Mr. Donk says, I take back all my Weatherman compliments for Roth's complete disrespect of The Office. Yeah.
I mean, it's really ridiculous.
It's
like borderline top comedy ever. It's like, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I just don't get it, apparently, because it's fine.
You need to watch season 2. Season 1 is different.
See, I just like, you just want me to stick with an entire season of a show there's a bajillion great shows.
They make a very drastic shift. Like they only did like 5 or 6 shows on the first season because they didn't know if they were going to get picked up. They make a very noticeable shift in like characters in season 2. Like and Michael Scott is turned down. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Michael Scott's turned down from like a 10. He's a 10 in season 1. He's like a 7 or an 8 as far as like craziness. So it's a little better.
Okay. That was my main issue. I was like, this guy just makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't know. I feel bad for him and everyone around him. All right. Let's see. Oh, DK Cash. How about Freddie Van Vliet? Last piece.
Sure.
Yeah, very good. Sean says, TJ, I know this is poop, but Okoro or Grayson in a FanDuel GPP?
Ooh.
I guess Grayson Allen.
Okay. All right.
But let me get him a better option. Like,
sure.
Yeah, Grayson Allen. Ask Meansy one, and then I'll get him a better option.
Okay. Means Arlo's got 4-6 left in DK Cash. You like Tyus or Brooks there?
Man, that's a tough one. On the one hand, Brooks for sure going to play more minutes, but a little more shooting dependent. Tyus does a little more across the board, but probably won't play nearly as many minutes. On those, I usually lean minutes, so I'm going to go Brooks.
Okay. TJ, you got a better option than Okoro or Grayson?
I got nothing. That's pretty terrible. If you could find $200, I'd rather get Kenrich Williams if it's the small forward position, but that is a pretty darn gross range. I would try and just rebuild somewhere else if I'm honest.
Okay. All right. Chinatown says, all right, what news is outstanding that could really shake things up? Is there anything means that we're waiting on here?
The one thing I'll say is Gobert. Like if I recall correctly, before he missed a handful of games with the groin, I think he was Q before that for like a handful of games and kept playing. So there's a chance that they just randomly rule him out again. And then that would mean like Naz Reid again. I know everyone has some bad thoughts going through their heads when they think of Naz Reid, but he's going to project awesomely if Gobert's out. Wiggins isn't going to move the needle much, so I think it's just Gobert we're waiting on.
Very good. Okay. FanDuel single entry, TJ Brooks or LeVert?
LeVert. Actually, I'll go Brooks just because he'll probably be lower owned.
All right. I've got a couple people agreeing with you, Meansy, that season 1 is not up to par. It's not up to snuff with the rest of the show.
I just thought it was like still, what do they say when like the water levels raised or whatever? I don't know what that term is, but like it still is like really good. I thought that would like still loop you in, like, pull you in. Apparently not. So then I guess I have to go up one more level and say watch season 2.
Okay, all right. I don't know what you're going for. A rising tide lifts all boats. I don't think
Yes,
that's
yes, that one. Yeah.
I don't know if that
I don't
counts.
know.
All right.
Whatever.
All right. Let's see. TJ, you like Giddy as a bring back if I'm playing all these Cleveland pieces?
Yes, I don't mind it.
FanDuel single entry 2v2, Job Brooks or Tyus, and that's probably an Ant-Man emoji, although I can't see it on my. Yeah, I think that's an ant emoji. So
Got
Job
it.
Brooks or Tyus Ant.
I'm kidding.
Was that tournament?
Yes.
Tyus and Ant.
Okay, DK Cash means Garland, Ja, or TJ. TJ McConnell and Giannis.
I would do the first one. Both are really good, though. I would do the first one, though.
Very good. DF for life. DK single entry hero or Clay.
Clay.
You like them both, though, don't you?
Yeah, I don't mind them. I'm playing 20 lineups today over on DK, and both of them are in my pool, but I got Clay more.
Okay.
There's like
Mike
no
FanDuel
one. They're like, sorry, like that Toronto Golden State game. I was looking at ownership earlier. Like no one's playing that game at all.
It's
There's
so
like-
beautiful for tournaments.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's like when everyone uses the whole game environment thing, like, oh, Memphis, Minnesota, great game environment. It's like, what is that, a 238 total and a 3-point spread? Toronto Golden State's like a 235 total on a 5-point spread. It's like it's 2 hours later, no one's gonna play that game.
BK, by the way, says you were going for high water mark. So maybe that's
Yes.
for the high water mark.
Maybe
There
that's
you
what I
go.
was going for.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have no idea what I was going for, but
FanDuel, TJ, I'm making you work real quick. FanDuel GPP last piece, 7K to 7,400, shooting guard, small forward. In the meantime, means what are your thoughts on fading McConnell for Mathurin to cut ownership in half in a GPP?
I like it, but what are you doing? I mean, obviously that's not a 1v1 discussion, but I like the theory. So yeah, maybe you can go a little chalkier with another piece then.
Very good. Means FanDuel Cash 2v2, Aaron Wiggins and Jared Allen or Brooks and slow-mo.
That's the first part again.
It was Aaron Wiggins and Jared Allen or Brooks and slow-mo.
I'm just not down for the Aaron Wiggins thing in cash at all. So yeah, second one.
Very good. TJ, you got to answer there. FanDuel GPP last piece, 7K to 7,400.
First choice would be D'Angelo Russell. Second choice would be Klay Thompson. Third choice would be TJ McConnell.
Okay, very good.
Minute's a lot, by the way.
Yeah, minute. Thank you. Means near lock here. I just closed out everything. Are you still there? Am I still here? Yep.
Yeah. Hi, Roth.
Hey guys. New Girl's hilarious, by the way. I like New Girl. Have you seen that? Means it's good.
I think
It's like-
my two personal favorite sitcoms are New Girl and Parks and Rec.
It's absolutely a show for you and the wifey. Like it's a chick show, but it's good.
Wait,
It's
is
the
that
woman-
the girl who's in Elf?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
good guys.
wifey watched that, and I actually, when I would catch it, I was like, "This, I would like this." Yeah, but I didn't watch it yet. Yeah,
I got roped in via the wife watching. I was like,
Yeah.
that show's actually pretty good.
I think that show's just got the best like character banter out of like any sitcom that I've seen. Like it's just hilarious how good their chemistry is.
Yeah, it's that's.
I really
good.
like the curly hair dude. He was pretty funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of curly. Yeah.
FanDuel GPP Dean Wade.
Not for me.
Now there's a show. This is before TJ's time, but TJ, there was a show called Seinfeld.
I've seen
Started it all.
probably almost all the episodes of Seinfeld. My dad was a big fan, so like we were still watching them every week new when they were coming out.
All right, good for you. Means you were a Seinfeld
Almost
guy, I
all.
imagine.
Yes.
Yeah, that was all. We're all in agreement there. No arguments to be had. We hit the lock. See if there's any post-lock questions coming out. FanDuel GPP Edwards or Gerald?
Edwards.
Is there a
Garland.
Garland?
Oh,
There we
I
go.
was gonna say Gerald Green's not in the league anymore.
Or Garland. I'd still go Garland, but if I had the salary, I'd be tempted to roll Anthony Edwards.
What's even worse is that the name was clearly Gerald, and I was calling it Gerald. Like,
Yeah,
I even made up a name. But yeah, good job decoding that, TJ, or whoever figured it out.
You know what I'm really good at decoding?
What?
When something is auto-corrected.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you what the actual word should have been.
That is impressive. I'm always impressed when people just do like a 2v2 and they don't say what site or format, and you're able to be like, that's got to be DK because this guy, and I'm like, you just...
Yeah, when you stare at lineup HQ all day, it tends to happen.
Yeah, I'm always fairly impressed. Did the Spidey Bombs hit? Says Jack Ryan. I watched that. It was that show was fine. If you want like absolutely mindless jacked guy punching people in the face repeatedly, it's fine.
Is
Have you
Jim
watched The Last
Halpert
of Us
jacked
yet?
in that movie?
Who?
Jim Halpert, isn't he in that?
So
Jim
I think
Halpert
in
is
the
Jack
movie,
Ryan,
I think in the movie it's Jim Halpert, but there's a TV show that came out with a totally different guy. Right?
Oh, but he's in the TV show too. That's just a different season of it. It's the Blue Mountain State guy.
I might be making
Bad
shit up.
Castle.
I might be confused with a different show entirely.
Did he get jacked for that movie?
No, I'm thinking of a totally...
John Krasinski is pretty jacked, yeah.
Okay, good for him.
That's not all right. I screwed that
Ross
up. I was
like,
thinking
yeah.
of a different.
All right, little boy. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
You want to call that
jacked.
Jack? Sure.
It's like yeah. All right. With that, I think we are going to. I was thinking Jack Reacher. That's it. I look at the chat knows.
That's
like,
the Thad Castle Blue Mountain State guy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Was Jack Reacher? Thank you, Mark, for clearing that up. Hey, I don't know why, but I just always have fun on this show. Always good hanging out with you guys for work. You know, it could be worse. I'll tell you that. Could be worse on a Friday.
That's true.
So shout out to everybody hanging out with us for TJ, for our wonderful production team. Always working hard behind the scenes. Rudy is in. We appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.